Hello everyone and welcome to Köhler's 24th romantic etude. This etude is titled Gavotte. This is a French-styled medium-paced dance that typically involves sliding of the feet. When playing this, I want you to have a feeling of sliding and connection throughout all of these legato phrases. As you can see, a lot of this music is under a slur. So I think it's important when we have, like for example in the second measure, a separation between the notes. I think it's important to not play through them so much, but it's still important to have an idea of connection. So instead of playing, which could be fun, although Köhler does not mark a staccato on these notes. So keeping in mind that it is a flowing sort of dance, I think you could have them more legato, but not connected. We see in the first measure that it's written con gusto. This means that we want to play with a tasteful, pleasureful sound. People like to approach these etudes very technically, but after all these other romantic etudes. So I want you to play this with a more flowing feel and have time, take time in between phrases to show a danceful, youthful sense of rubato, which I think would help this piece so much. Some tricky things in this etude are going to specifically revolve around large intervals. Specifically in the third measure, we end beats 3 and 4 with these large leaps between a B flat and a flat above the staff. Now these two notes are going to be in different places in our mouth, and it is important to acknowledge this, but it's also important to not do too much movement. If you think of these notes in completely different octaves on the flute, it's going to make it really difficult to play this in time, because you're going to be thinking, oh, I have to do all of this movement, and then it's going to turn into... You're going to be doing so much here that it's not going to sound cohesive. And really, this A flat is just part of this. It's not meant to be anything special. So we do need to incorporate it into the rest of the notes. And by doing this, think of it all in one line, in one consistent stream of air, instead of chopping it up. It's going to be super easy to look at this and say, oh, those notes are so far away, so I have to play something like this. But those are not important notes. They're actually the least important note because they're the note that's right before the most important note, which is the downbeat. So making this as much as you can into the sound of the previous notes, maybe that involves a sort of taper decrescendo towards the end of the beat. Just make sure that whatever you do, it's not obstructing from the music. A flats are a tricky note on the flute because on most flutes I would imagine they're a little bit flat. If you play this with a tuner, you might realize that specifically in the second measure, this A flat is going to fall flat. Whatever we can do to keep that pitch up is going to help this maintain momentum for the remainder of the phrase, because this is kind of just the middle of the phrase. That's not where the phrase ends. It's only the second measure. So you don't want it to sound like an ending. You want to glide it into the next measure. To do this, you're going to have to actually speed up your air. Speed up your airstream by pushing more from your abdominal muscles instead of kind of giving up the phrase. Did you see how I actually used vibrato to try to spin the air more, to try to speed up the airstream? This is a good technique to use in this spot. When we're going into the next section, it's written allargando and then a tempo at the next measure. This allargando, I think you can exaggerate a little bit, maybe just take it a little bit out of tempo, because before we're playing straight 16th notes. Again, at this next section, we're going to have more leaps, more large intervals that are going to feel pretty uncomfortable. What's important about this is shooting out faster spurts of air. When playing consistently, for example, on one note, I'll just do a G. I'm playing one airstream all the way through. But if we were going to redact this to just playing one note, but doing what we need to do with our air, you're going to actually have to sort of spurt out the air a little bit faster without stopping anything with the tongue, without stopping the airstream in any way. We're going to have to push faster air. This is the idea you want to have, is that you're pushing to speed up the air instead of controlling it all with our face, which sometimes people like to do, which will just tense up your throat and restrict the resonance in the sound so much it's not going to be pleasant to listen to. As we approach the end, we want to make this a really convincing and exciting ending. We have 3 of the same little segments here. You want to have different ideas for each of these. You don't want to just play it all the same. That's not exciting at all. Whatever you do, just make it convincing. I'm not going to tell you this is the right way, this is the wrong way, because there is really no right way. Köhler didn't actually mark anything there. But if you do all play it the same, it's not going to be as exciting as it could be. And again, these are the romantic etudes. You want to make them exciting. Maybe the first two that are not so loud. The first one maybe mezzo forte, mezzo piano. Second one, do a little bit less, mezzo piano or piano. And the third one, really go for it to get back into our fortissimo, how we're going to end. That's going to make it so much more exciting. And again, with all of the etudes in Köhler's Romantic Etudes book, they're kind of joke endings, okay? These are not meant to be taken very seriously. It ends on a quarter note. So there's actually a quarter rest and then a half rest after this, which means we don't want to hold on to this long note and vibrate it so much. Because that's not what's written. So we want to play what's written, but you also have to make it exciting. So I'd like to decorate it a little bit with vibrato at the end, but still maintaining the same tempo, not stretching it out longer than it has to be. After all, there's no fermata and there's no reason to be holding it out. But I hope this video helps. If it did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any questions for me. If you would like to study with me and have anything you want to work on personally, my website is devynflute.com. You can schedule lessons with me there, and I would be happy to work with you on anything that you want. Make sure you're subscribed so you see the next etude, which is the final etude, number 25, the Russian dance. And I can't wait to see you then. All right, ciao, goodbye.